Welcome to the Power of One. Today, we're going to be speaking about a very serious topic that many people may have experienced and probably lost a lot of money. Today, we're going to be speaking with Jerry from the Attorney General's office. So please listen up and pay attention and take note so scams do not happen to you. Welcome to the show, Jerry.
Hey, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
So let's just dive right in. Tell me, what is a scam?
Mm,
Because there can be multiple types of scams. So let's just start with,
absolutely.
like, what's a scam and how does it affect someone?
Well, I just want to say thank you, Melanie, for having me on your show, first of all, on behalf of the Office of Attorney General. And this is stuff that we see day in and day out. Our mission remains clear when it comes to this type of fraud, scams, and crime in general. Uh, our mission doesn't waver. It's to protect the innocent and punish the guilty. When you see the kind of scams that go on like this, they're malicious in nature. The people who perpetrate this stuff are evil. They could care less about the individual themselves. And this whole thing for them boils down to money, money,
Mm,
money. Manipulation, tactics that are used to get the money, they are ever changing and ever evolving because society is ever changing and ever
mhm,
evolving. So
mhm.
these folks don't have a problem. They don't have a problem, and they don't see anybody. I want to make this clear to you, everybody listening. Scam artists and fraudsters don't see anybody as a victim. They see
Mm,
people as a customer. You are a customer. It's easier to perpetrate a scam or a fraud if they see, for the most part, they see someone as a customer, as less of a human being. It's just part of a process. They're just part of a process. So it's easier to take tens of thousands from somebody who's, on a fixed income or
mhm,
a kid who's unaware of this is happening to them.
mhm.
So how this stuff and what is a scam or fraud? And just to go into your question here, it's when somebody uses illegal means, trickery, deceit, to gain access to accounts to basically uh, go inside of someone's account or gain access to someone's numbers, which lead to the money, social security number, bank accounts, and anything like that, and basically to steal their funds. It's theft.
Tell me something. I Going back and thinking about my Northwest Victim Services days, which I
Oh
miss,
yeah,
and I think that's how we met. I remember receiving multiple calls from individuals who had given someone money to move in an
yeah,
apartment.
oh
And
yeah,
at the time, it was probably about 10 to 15 people. And this person took what they thought was the down payment to get into an apartment. I don't believe the attorney general was involved at that time. When does the attorney general get involved with scams?
I mean, when it's referred to our office from the DA's office,
Okay.
or when somebody comes in, doesn't need to be referred to our office. If it goes through consumer protection, we take a look at it. Okay, there's been a state violation here. Our office gets involved.
Okay. Okay. So you touched on a little bit with my first question. I can only imagine scams have changed over the
Oh yeah,
last 10, 20, 30 years. Because you think about it, well, for me, I'm 21. I might have turned 21 like a couple of times, but we
there
had
you go.
beepers. We had beepers. We didn't have, these cell phones and all of
Oh
this
yeah,
email and all of that. I can only imagine how scams evolve year after year. So talk
yeah.
about how they get more sophisticated over the years.
Okay, so let's go back 30 years ago to the technology we had 30 years ago, where cars still had keys, literally
Mm-hmm.
a metal key when you had to open it up. Technology where we still had uh, big square TVs instead of flat screens, where the
Sure.
internet was still in its infancy back
Mm-hmm.
then, where 30 years ago, we didn't even have Windows 95 yet. We have 3.1. The world was a lot more manual technology wise back then. So scam artists had to be a lot more manual too. As the evolution of the technology progressed and automation became more and more of a mainstay, so did the scam artists. I can tell you right now, their evolution progresses along with the technology. Can I
Mm,
use this for? Can I use this to manipulate? Can I use this to lie? Can I use this to steal? And as the technology started to, the ecosystem of the technology started to include more and more people into it, to the point now most people have a cell phone versus a house phone.
hmm.
So now how easy is it for them to access information? And then the information went online. More information went from paper to online. That's what
Right.
happened with society. And so
Mm,
now, spring forward to here we are in 2024. And just within the last 15 years ago, this stuff moves really quick. I mean, where were we at social media 15 years ago? It wasn't
mm,
as inclusive in society as it is now. Now it's like you can't do anything without social media or own a business without social media. Scam
right.
artists know, okay, the access is everywhere. And then all this whole thing about to them, this whole thing is all about access and confidentiality. That's why there's so
Mhm.
many break-ins online nowadays.
One of my coordinators said to me, Melanie, can you check out this address? Because my family wants to spend Christmas in Philadelphia. I said, sure. So I looked at the address and I said,
Yeah.
and it was an Airbnb. So I
Oh
said,
yeah.
okay, now it's close to my first love, Northwest Victim Services, and it's
Gotcha.
on High Street. So I said, oh, I said, well, maybe it's on the other side, of Germantown, because there are some big, beautiful homes in Germantown. So I said,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's on the other side. And then she says to me, it's by a lumber company. I said, um, no, you might not want to come. And she laughed. I love her. She's awesome. And she's
Mm-hmm.
also Caucasian. She said, can you
Okay.
imagine my whole Caucasian family being in the middle of
Yeah.
all African Americans? And mind you, she is sweet. She's not prejudiced at all. But she looked at the corner and there's on Google, she looked at the corner. There's a whole lot of people hanging out on the corner. She said
Yeah.
somebody is barbecuing in their front lawn, which is not always a bad thing. But this picture wasn't too inviting. I said, tell your sister that's not a good place. And then she said everyone would have their own room. So it made it seem like it was probably about maybe maybe 5 to 6 rooms.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this on, I said, no. So she did call her sister and tell her sister this is not a good idea.
Sure.
And her sister tried to get the money back. I think it was $2,400. And when I tell you this is
Mm-hmm.
like row homes and not even that big, and her sister couldn't get her money back. Are there scams with Airbnbs?
I've heard of it before. When I was in Dallas last June, uh, literally ran into two families. They were sisters with their kids, and we all ran into each other in Dallas. And I was down there for business reasons, and they told me how they had just gotten scammed by an Airbnb situation down there. They were from Arkansas, and they had come to Dallas. So this is not my point. I'm trying to make is this is not the first time I'm hearing about a scam with Airbnb. Unfortunately, companies like this are taken advantage of, and people will make it look like it's an Airbnb uh, rental, an Airbnb situation where, Airbnb, this is definitely Airbnb, just you're definitely going to be able to stay here. And it's not. And here they are sitting here basically taking people's money, and not just one person. If you think it was 20 something $100, let's just say it was $2,500 that was taken from somebody. If you look at this exponentially and you see how they're doing this, $2,500, and let's say they did this to 200 people a week. Now, start to add that up in terms of a year. Now you start to see how the money comes in, starts rolling in simply by defrauding people. Phishing schemes is what you're talking about, making it look like it's Airbnb, but it's actually a fraudulent entity that's doing this. That's called phishing. and that's spelled with a PHISHING, and it's a fraudulent way. Uh, so many stalwart companies, billion-dollar and trillion-dollar companies, are being lifted. Their logo, their imaging is being lifted just so these folks can, just so they can lie and make it look like Apple. You know, it's unfortunate and it's horrible. When that stuff happens, I do encourage people to contact their attorney general's office to see if there's something they can do. If there was anything the attorney general's office in that state can do, or if there's any way they can see if they can get any kind of recouper of their money back in any way. I'm not sure if they'll be able to, but at least take that step, or at least go to identitytheft.gov, because that's also an identity theft issue.
How hard is it for the attorney general to catch these people? That's probably hard because again, we're not talking about, bank robbers back in the day going into an actual physical location and
Sure.
running away from a crime scene. Everything is done probably million miles away, right?
Yeah, it depends. I can tell you right now, if they're in the United States, we're the attorney general for PA, so I'm gonna
Yes.
start home and then I'm gonna go out. If it's in Pennsylvania and they've left some sort of a crumb trail or bread trail, a digital trail, the attorney general's office, your state police, they can look at that trail and see where that IP address leads, see what they can do in terms of tracking that down, doing an investigation to catch these thieves. So if they're in PA, can we go after these folks? Yeah, we can. Tracking them down is not easy. These people are sophisticated. They are smart. They have been planning this stuff. They rehearse. Uh, Making a mistake, that's just a way of, okay, that's practice for getting it right the next time. Uh, the technology that they which is usually includes what's called onion routing, which is making it look like it's coming from multiple sources. So it's hard to pin down one source. And again, with burner phones, and chances are they're using phones that are, you know, here today, gone tomorrow. Phones you
Mm,
can just disposable phones you can buy. There's a lot of tactics. That's why we are on the preventative side. I'll make just raising awareness for a lot of people with this stuff. It's a lot. Going
mm,
outside Pennsylvania, it's next to impossible to catch these folks.
mm. Okay.
They're coming from, pick the country. No, I'm sorry. Pick the continent other than
Mm,
Antarctica, but pick the continent. And they're coming from all over the world.
mm. So we are living in scary times again with the advancement of scams. So now is something called AI.
Sure.
And I will admit this because I'm such a strong and honest person. I kept
Yeah.
hearing AI, AI. I'm like, AI is retired. Like he's not even with the Sixers anymore. Like, why is everybody talking about AI?
Yeah.
Then I was like, oh, okay. I will never share what I just shared it on
Yeah.
TV. But okay. So you have national, or well, I don't want to say national, but I guess people could use this, like you said, nationally. Voice cloning.
Yeah,
AI is deep. So
it
take your
is.
time, explain what this is, because I actually received a call, but it wasn't voice cloning, but some male called me and said, your sister was in an accident and
Yeah.
we need you to send her some money. And some of them are not smart. I'm going to be clear. He's like, this is law enforcement. So I need you to pay attention and I need you to send this. And then he puts this woman on the phone. She's like, just listen to it. I said, and I played with him for a little while because I'm in victim services. So I need to educate my people. But then
Hmm.
after a while, I was like, y'all do know I don't have a sister, right? And then they hurry up and they hung up on me. So take your
Yeah.
time, explain to the viewers what AI is and how damaging it could be.
Okay. This is going to be interesting. Let me say up front, with AI and the onslaught of it, and it's going to be everywhere. Within the next 14 months, 15 months tops, AI is going to be everywhere. Artificial intelligence, or AGI, artificial general intelligence.
See, they left that part out. So it wasn't
Yeah.
my fault in what I thought. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, that's when you get into the day-to-day or everyday aspects of artificial intelligence. I'll give you an example. These are my headphones, okay? I got them from Singapore. These headphones right here talk to me now. They make suggestions while I'm listening to a song. They'll make suggestions. You've been listening to Luther Vandross long enough. Hey, do you want to listen to Freddie Jackson? You know, it'll just something similar to it. Artificial general intelligence, or AGI, set of instructions, technology that is designed to learn all that is learnable and assist us, to give us suggestions and based on what we ask of it. And again, not only with the suggestions that we give it, but again, to expand out and keep learning and keep growing through what is called, I forget the computer terminology for it, but that kind of computer expanded. And it's not AI or AGI or AI bot or anything like that, but the technology, the computer brain behind it, it's really vast. That kind of type of computer technology. And I used to work inside that field for a while, but they switched it up now. This technology is designed to keep learning and keep growing to assist us. Now, there's a lot of people who are concerned about it because they're wondering, well, okay, well, to what degree will this technology keep growing? And as long as we have the control over it, as long as it stays within its realm, okay, we should be fine. But again, this kind of believability that this technology have, the accuracy of it, the social engineering behind it, it's incredible what this technology can do. AI chatbot, uh, Google owns Google Bard. That's one version of it. The other version of it is what you see, Chat GPT, Open AI. That's the other one I was looking for. I was thinking about earlier, Open AI. Those are generally owned by Microsoft. Those access the web. Google's does not. Google has its own central brain that it uses. And you name the industry, the retail industry, the medical industry, the travel industry, government, definitely the tech industry, it's going to be in everything pretty soon. So when you talk about scams and frauds and what you just said about that, uh,
Mm-hmm.
the programs are designed, and again, by humans, but the complement to that program are the avatars that are also here. This is not new. AI is not new. We've been using it. If you have a Google Home or Alexa, or you've been saying,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey Siri," that's all
Mm-hmm.
AI. All that stuff is AI. So we've already, it's
Wow.
been here for years. But the thing
Mm-hmm.
about it is now it has taken a massive leap forward. Let me put it like this, and let me cap it like this. It's the equivalent of going from using a candle to using electricity.
Mm.
That's how
Mm.
powerful this stuff is now.
Well, I do know, like sometimes my husband and I could be in the room and we're just watching TV,
Hmm.
and Alexa will just start talking to us, and then we're looking at each other like, okay, what is that about? That scares me. Now,
Yeah.
the internet. So, does the internet play a part in AI scams? Because I never could understand for the life of me, someone will put on Facebook or Instagram, and I'm not talking about anybody. I'm
Right.
just in the victim services world, so I'm always conscious about what I'm saying, what I'm doing, and even for my family. Don't post that you're getting ready to go on vacation. Don't post certain things on social media because scammers and people who are doing wrong, they're just
Yeah.
watching. It's like a playground for them. So
It
how does
really
the
is.
internet and AI play off of each other?
Quantum computing. That's how they play off of each other. This type of computing, which now incorporates technology from corporate to government to medical, and basically how it can really quickly access information. That's where a lot of your scam artists are basically manipulating the system
Mm-hmm.
because this stuff has gotten faster. And it's gotten in the, once again, the accuracy, the rapid fire accuracy of it. So, how does that play into scams? Is that your question?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How does that play into scams? Well, if they're looking for information, if they're looking to say, okay, list for people who are in this area over 55. So if they're saying list of people in Germantown, okay,
Mhm.
in Philadelphia over 55, now they can sit back and get that list within 3 seconds.
Mm,
Access or industries that are going to have that. This is a new frontier. I do want to make this clear. The frontier is going to be new to so many people because, again, they have never really or don't realize they have worked with AI in the past. So there's going to be some new challenges and new ignorances that a lot of folks are going to have to basically take on and absorb and basically get past. And that right there is where a lot of folks are going to start using this. It's here to assist us. But at the same time, the type of technology that we have, thieves are going to be using this stuff for what you just call fake voice clones, supercharged fraud that is out there. The AIs are also incorporated in the avatars. And I want to talk about that for a moment. If you haven't heard about that, now the avatars are here as well too. And the avatars are basically computer generated images that unfortunately thieves, when they call up a house or they call up somebody and they pretend to be the police, they pretend to be law enforcement or a judge or something, all they need is 4 words and they can generate a 2 minute conversation. Tone of voice, everything. The avatars, personal avatars are going to be in so many people's everyday walk of life within the next year. And now you have people who are basically taking that technology and looking to manipulate it. So now when you think you're talking to a person and you get like a video screen or something like that, you think you're talking to the person who actually works there. It's actually an avatar.
mm.
Or somebody can call you and you think you're talking to a person. It's actually an avatar. It can, and again, to make it sound like you, so that makes it sound like you called your mom, you called your sister. When you picked up the phone, or when an individual picked up the phone and they said, "Hi, this is so and so, and we're looking for this individual. Are they home?" No, they're not here. 4 words, and they can generate a 2 minute conversation off that.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
How do we protect ourselves from that? Please explain that. And
sure.
again, repeat the information if anyone was a victim of a scam, how they can contact your office. But how do we protect ourselves?
One of the things they're looking to do, when someone calls you up and they're looking to start gathering information, or let's start with like a sibling scam or something like that, or grandparent scheme. Those unfortunately work really well, and they may tell you, "Hey, listen, your son or your daughter is in jail. Something's happened to them. They need your help. Uh, Here's the way it works. We are going to send a courier to your house if you want to sit back and give the bail money, provide the bail money to them. If you go to the bank and you can get the money, and they're like, how much is the money? Well, it's a few $1,000s. Uh, you don't want to really go into the bank and cause a panic, cause a scene, be nervous about it. Just tell them it's money for a home construction if they ask or something like that. These are the tactics that they use. Be making people aware that they're going to try to pull a string in your heart. Scams flow by the season and situation.
Mm,
When you get into the holiday season, okay, that's where you get your kind of holiday scams, I like to call them. And people are like, they're trying to play on, joy to the world in the holiday season and the good spirit of that. When there has been a crisis, an earthquake, an explosion, there's been a shooting.
mm,
Oh my goodness, people are collecting money. Be careful of things like that. All of a
mhm.
sudden, here comes a charity to collect money or asking for money. And then have a password between family members. So if a family member calls you, hey, I need $300, I need $500. I have been recommending this for a while. It's a good idea just to have a password amongst the family,
That's
so
a
that
good
you
idea.
know that it's not, so that it's not a fraudster. So, and then change it up every so often. Do
Mm-hmm.
not text each other the password.
Mm,
That
mm-hmm.
needs to be said verbally.
Mm.
Do not text, hey, the new password is, and you text somebody could hack someone's phone. And if they hack anyone's phone, then everybody's
They have it.
exposed.
They have everything. Now, and
Yeah.
you're going to give the contact information for the Attorney General's office in 2 minutes. But and you just made me think about something. Someone actually hacked my mom's email, and they just blasted out this email saying, my granddaughter has cancer and I need to be able to get her this and I need a gift card. Can you please
Yeah.
get the gift card and then tell me the information? And my mom was just so distraught. The thing about my mom is that she is the most beautiful woman. And I'm not speaking about the physical appearance. My mother has the most beautiful heart, most giving heart. And when people got that email, they automatically wanted to jump in to help my mother because she's just the type of person. How do they hack into an email and then just get everybody's contact?
You want to know another way our information is exposed at times?
Huh?
And this is something everybody needs to hear. The one of the biggest assets you have in your life, your vehicles. Welcome
How
to
is
the
that?
world. Welcome to the world of hacking someone's car keys, you
Mm-hmm.
name it. Our vehicles are now cell phones on wheels, and we really need to be mindful. Start off, and I'm going to start off with car rentals. When we rent a car, when we return that car, and especially if we use that car to connect our phone with, so we have to drive
Mm,
hands free and we uploaded
yes,
our contacts
yes,
into it,
yes.
please be mindful to sanitize the vehicle before we return it.
Mhm.
Car rental agencies do not do that. They clean the car, they vacuum it, they wash it, they put gas in it if it needs it, and it's off to the next customer. They do not sanitize the infotainment system. I
Mhm.
know I have rented cars and I have seen contacts from other people that are left in there. That's
Yeah.
one way information is exposed. When we trade in our cars, the exact same thing. You have a vehicle, you're trading it in to, whether I don't, let's say it's a Honda. You're trading it in, sanitize it, go in there, clean out that information like you would a cell phone before you trade it in. Do
Mhm.
not, oh yeah, I'm just here's the keys to my car. You giving me a certain
Mhm.
amount of money
Mhm.
for it. I'm ready to get the new car. Sanitize that vehicle, that infotainment system prior to trading that vehicle in. Those
That
are
is
two of
very
the
good. Very, very good information and things I've never thought about. So, Jerry, now I'm going to go back to living in my bubble. And before we go, please give the website again if someone was scammed and how they can report the scam.
absolutely. You can contact our consumer protection division at attorneygeneral.gov, the www.attorneygeneral.gov. That's how you can reach us. Once you do that, you can scroll down to where it says consumer protection, or if you need to file a complaint, the complaint button is right there at the top. You click on that, file a complaint, and then you go through the system. You file an online complaint now. Very straightforward, not very cumbersome at all to do, and they've made it that way. And if someone needs a complaint still, mail to them. Once you go onto our website, our phone number is down at the bottom. Some folks would like to have a paper complaint, and we
Mhm.
get that. So you can
Okay.
still have one mailed to you, and we can still mail one out to you.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Jerry.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I know some things were said that just blew your mind because it blew my mind, and it will make me more cautious about what I do with all of the electronics that I'm using. Thank you so much for joining me today, and please protect yourself and protect your family. Peace and love.